Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're playing more of the dual casting seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode in which the first special card that we play on our turn, we play twice. Today we're going to play a crazy meme deck that is both hilariously fun and extremely effective, so let's go give it a look. So today we'll be playing a Skellige Battle Trance deck that is built around playing Shupe's Day Off as many times as possible. And because we don't have any duplicates in our deck, that means that when we play Shupe's Day Off, in round 1, we'll use Shupe Knight to give us resilience, and because we play Shupe's Day Off twice in this event, that means we get 2 8-power resilience bodies, which is pretty sweet. And by using Lippy to switch our graveyard with our deck, we can then play Shupe's Day Off additional times to create even more Shupes. So in round 1, we'll start by playing Johnny and use our leader ability to boost him up so that he deals additional damage and gets harder for our opponents to remove. Then we'll use cards like Coral and Birna to discard cards from our hand and deal damage in the process, and ideally summon Morkvarg back onto the board, along with the Tuirseach Skirmisher. Then we'll play a bunch of special cards to boost our units, damage our opponent's units, and do more boosting and damaging. Then we finish with Shupe's Day Off and aim for the resilience on Shupe Knight to get some carryover. Then in round 2, we use Lippy to switch our graveyard and our deck, allowing us to repeat the same strategy in the rest of round 2 and or round 3. Which of course means potential for even more Shupes. So there's a look at the deck, and like I said, the focus is on playing Shupe's Day Off as many times as possible to get as many Shupes on the board as we can, giving us either tons of resilience, or if you're feeling a little risky, use some of the more RNG-centric Shupe effects. And although this deck is primarily a meme, it does put up a lot of points because we can play all of our best cards twice. So let's go see it in action. Alright, so going up against Northern Realms here, and they'll go first. Okay, so of course we have Knickers in our hand, and we definitely don't want that. So we'll swap out there. We have Shupe, that's great. We have Oneiromancy, that's also great. We notably do not have Lippy. However, I'm fairly certain that at this stage, that's what Matta would give us. Let's get rid of the Pellar. And well, okay, Invader's not great. We'll start with Amphibious Assault. And a Spellweaver. And a Kidwani Knight, which is a point slam. It's a little bit weird to be playing that early. The Spellweaver makes a whole lot more sense. So let's start with Johnny. And that'll get out Roach as well. And obviously, if we leave Johnny here, he is an easy target for them to get rid of. However, if we use our leader ability, boost him up, we can give him more power and also deal a little bit of damage to our opponent. They'll use reinforcements to get more Spellweavers. Maybe they had another Spellweaver in their hand, and that's why their second AA before was for that Kidwani Knight rather than a second Spellweaver. So now they're going to try to take out Johnny. Obviously, they don't have enough damage yet, but this damage will add up very quickly. So why not use Red Haze, get rid of this one. I was really hoping that damage was going to hit this guy to get rid of his shield. But, okay, fine. Deal the damage there. Okay, then it's Alzur's Thunder, which, once you add in the Spellweaver damage, will be enough to get rid of Johnny. So we put up a fight, but ultimately, 3 Spellweavers, or however many they had, was what it took to take him out. So now let's use Matta. And that does give us Lippy. They'll go with an Arachas student, so yeah, this is looking a lot like a full-blown Mage's deck. And we'd love to play our discard package now. I'm a little bit concerned, though, about playing Coral right now, because she could very well get destroyed by a combination of the Spellweaver damage, which is almost enough by itself. But if they play one more Mage, that gives them enough charges to get rid of her for sure. Obviously, if they have a damaging special card, they can definitely do it. But I think we give it a shot here. Fortunately, we got a Skirmisher to discard, which does work quite well. We'll go with a Banard student, so yes, that's another Mage, which means they do have enough damage to get rid of Coral as expected. Assuming they use all those charges. Which they do. And now let's go Oneiromancy. First into Rockslide. Get rid of this Spellweaver. And then next, into Birna. And we'll discard you and you. So fortunately, We did get Morkvarg in there, so that means he'll get summoned back out. Then their Oneiromancy. We'll give them Yennefer. And an Owlser's Thunder. And they're trying to set up Yennefer, understandably so. So that damage will add up very quickly, and unfortunately, we don't have a way to destroy those cards anymore unless we go for Shupes Day Off and try to deal damage with that, but that's probably not what we'd like to do. So instead, I think we go Swallow on Morkvarg. And remember, because that's an alchemy card and we have Battle Trance, our passive ability is to heal a card every time we use an alchemy card. So that gives us a little bit of additional value. And since we have one really big unit, that means that Yennefer is much less effective now. It's another Bannard student. Notably, they have played one more card than us, but we're tied right now, so we could pass and either force the round 1 draw, making it a sudden death round 2 in which we have an additional card, or force them to play one more card. They'll win round 1, but go 2 cards down, giving us permanent card advantage. I think we still want to play here with Mardroeme on Morkvarg, which again will not only give us the boost, but also some healing. And the reason for that is because ideally we would like to play Lippy in round 2, flip our deck, and then have the chance to draw into some of our better cards again in round 3. And Maxi is not a very good solution here for them, because that's just 6 points. They're going to have to use some of these order abilities. And a leader ability charge, and with that, once again, they have only tied us. We could theoretically pass. Or we could go Shupes Day Off, try to get some resilience here. Which we got 2 times over. Perfect. And wanted to wait to play that until at or near the end of the round so that they wouldn't just use their damage from all the Spellweavers to destroy them. Means we'll take the round 1 win on even cards with 2 Shupes carrying over. Okay, so now we draw into our 2 echoed copies of Oneiromancy. That's obviously great. But our Dimun Warship and our Skald are probably both cards we'd rather not have right now. And so we have this 16 points of carryover, which is nice. We definitely want to play Lippy now. And that'll also get out Roach now that we've done our deck flip. So that means we have 23 points that they kind of need to match in one turn here. Otherwise, we're going to get permanent card advantage. So they go with another Amphibious Assault into another round of Spellweavers. So it does very much look as though that is their go-to strategy here. And Margarita doesn't really have anything meaningful to lock, at least not yet. So we could pass here and force them to go a card down, giving us card advantage and double assay in round 3. That's certainly not bad. However, we could also go Oneiromancy into Matta. With that, draw Shupes Day Off. And then with our second Oneiro, use Bekker's Rockslide to get rid of that Spellweaver, since we were suspecting that that was going to be their key card in this round. We'll also get Knickers out for our deck as well. Then it's Donamir, their defender, which is a little unfortunate, because it does make dealing damage a little bit tougher. I think we continue to push here, though. We'll go with Dancing Star. Obviously, it's not going to do much against Donamir. But more than anything, what we're trying to do is just have this round go longer, continue to bleed them out, and then finish with Shupes Day Off and try to get some more resilience going into round 3. Okay, Chapter Wizards is certainly one of their best cards, so we're getting rid of some of their big stuff here. Then, ooh, that's probably not the mage they were hoping to get. Followed by an Arachas student. That's probably more like it. Then again, not a lot of time remaining in this round to power up that Arachas student. So their shields make this less than ideal, but I think we still go Oneiro into Coral. And then Birna. We'll discard Mahakam Ale and Mardroome. And Red Haze is actually a little tempting here. Might stick with that. Oh, but it doesn't work with a defender. I forgot. Yeah, no. That's not a card we're going to want after all. Okay, then it's another Oneiro. Ooh, to reset Chapter Wizards. Okay. So we need to be a little bit careful here. They're starting to get some decent setup, and we want to make sure that we are not letting them catch us on this turn. Otherwise, they might actually be on even cards with us. We'd certainly like for them to be a card down. Spellweaver, of course, gets stronger the longer this round goes. But they have not yet caught us. So I think that means now is probably the time to use Shupes Stay Off. And once again, we're looking for resilience here. And we will get it both times, once again. And that is almost certainly the last card that we're going to play in this round, because Red Haze just flat out doesn't work. And Arachas Venom also does not have a great target, which is going to be 3 damage to Donimir. They're of course going to try to target the Shupes with their Spellweavers. That's why we waited to play Shupe as late as possible in round 1, and why we tried to delay it in this round as well. Ooh, very clever. However, we are capable of destroying that Shupe, which is probably worth doing with Arachas Venom, just to deny them the resilience. It was also a big enough turn for them to catch us here. That was very well done. But of course, these Spellweavers will continue to get charges. No! Purification on the Pellar! What are the chances they could steal one resilience unit and purify the second? Okay, well, that means that now we're gonna pass, and they've one more point than us, which means we will be on even cards in round 3. We've lost our resilience because they purified one of our Shupes, and they stole another one, which, needless to say, was not very likely that they were going to be able to do that, so not much we could have done in anticipation to prevent them from doing that. So, we will pass, because Red Haze does absolutely nothing here. And we still have our 2 echoed copies of Oneiromancy, but I think we're looking to get rid of Red Haze and probably Mardroome as well. Well, see, the thing is, I guess we'll get rid of... I guess we are not getting rid of Mardroome. Okay, it's Rune Word. That shield is a little annoying. I mean, it's not like we're going to be able to destroy it with Mardroome anyway, I suppose. That sorceress has 5 power. And it's an Arachas student. And this is one of the benefits of us having bled them in round 2 as much as we did, is that this is going to be a really short round 3, so there's not going to be a lot of time for those patience units to gain power. And so let's start with Johnny, because we're going to have a lot of special cards in this round. And then let's boost him up a bit, so that he is not as easy for them to remove. And of course, at least initially, it's just going to hit their shields. But from here on out, it should start dealing a lot of damage. Oneiro into Amphibious Assault. Okay, yep, that is the worry, is that Amphibious Assault does give them a solid source of point slams. More Arachas students. And Pact. So one thing we can do here, if we're willing to take a pretty big risk, is go Oneiro into Shupes Stay Off. And instead of going with Shupe Knight, go Shupe Mage, the riskiest of all the Shupes. And split this 13 damage because they have way more units than we do. Chances are it's going to deal a lot more damage to them. And then for that reason, we should probably boost our unit rather than getting more units down here. This also is going to end our turn, so this Swallow is going to randomly target someone, and fortunately, it targeted Johnny, who's the person that I was going to go for, but it theoretically could have boosted one of their Arachas students. Okay, then Pact will give them some more points with the boosts. Now let's go with our Mardroomes, which need to be on Johnny, because Shupe Mage cannot handle the damage, so we're really hoping that this last card is not some form of tall removal, otherwise we are in a lot of trouble. No pass. So don't know what it was, but they decided it was not enough, even when combined with these Arachas student boosts. So that means we won't even need to play this last card. Alright, so going up against Nilfgaard here. And we'll go first. Okay, so notably missing a lot of our key cards here. Perhaps most importantly, no Lippy. Let's get rid of the Tuirseach Invader. Matta can help us get Oneiromancy, which could give us a way to get Lippy. So that's definitely a big pickup. Then let's get rid of the Dimun Warship. And maybe this red Haze as well. Okay, we get Shupe. That's definitely nice. So let's start with Johnny. And that'll give us Roach out from our deck as well. And then, because at 4 power he is very much in removal range, let's use a leader ability charge. Get Battle's Trance out here, and boost up Johnny, making him much stronger, and therefore much harder for them to remove. They'll go with a Slave Hunter, so looks like Assimilate. But we should be able to get rid of that in really any of a number of ways. So let's go Triangle within a Triangle, and boost Roach. And boost Roach again, and the damage from Johnny is enough to get rid of that Assimilate unit. And then it's Scorch, which is kind of unfortunate. Yeah, we did very much go the highly boosted route. But that was, of course, one of their best cards. And we do still have a lot more stuff that we're looking to do here. So now let's use Matta. Because that'll give us Oneiromancy. And we'll also get Knickers out. Then they'll go with more Assimilate, which we may be able to destroy as well, because now let's go Oneiromancy. First into Coral. And then into Birna. And use them to discard some cards and deal some damage in the process. And if we use Coral as well, discard, I don't think we need the Skald anymore. And that is enough to destroy their other Assimilate unit. And just in case they try to pass early on us, let's use Curse Scroll to make sure that we get Lippy. And get rid of, I guess, Mahakam Ale. And it's an Imperial Practitioner, is also an Assimilate unit, which we could also destroy with something like Gutting Slash. So I say we go for that. They'll go with Brothans. And with Brothans, get a Duchess's Informant for a Tuirseach Skirmisher, which is not a very useful card for them, other than just giving a few Assimilate procs on Brothans, who, by the way, we can also destroy with Arachas Venom this time. We could go that route, however, I want to be a little bit careful, making sure that we do give ourselves enough time to play Shupes Day Off, because given the advantage that we have right now, they may look to pass somewhat early, and we would very much like to get the chance to play Shupes Day Off to try to get some resilience for the end of the round. So yes, we'll use Arachas Venom, but I think we very much want to make sure that we're using Shupe on our next turn. And it's Roderick. Into more Spies with Cantarella, with which they will get some damage. I mean, we would have certainly liked to have used Bekker's Rockslide ourselves. And it is the first special card that they played, so they'll destroy 2 of our cards with that. Not only do we not get the damage in this round, but it also means that we won't be able to use Lippy to put that back into our deck. So that does hurt a bit, but as I said, I think top priority remains playing Shupe, and if we had done it last turn, then they would have just destroyed it with that Bekker's Rockslide. So we'll go here to Shupe Knight, and then look for Resilience, which we do get. And let's put him here, and go for another one, and this time we also get Resilience. A little bit wary about playing it in a row by itself, because they could have Assassination, which would deal a lot of damage in that case, and certainly be able to take it out. Food Gra for Cantarella, rather than Roderick. And, well, we have some weak units on the board, which means they may be able to chain some damage together here with Dancing Star. Although, some questionable usage there. Fortunately, we have our units placed pretty well for Red Haze. And so one thing that we would normally do would be ideally use the Pellar to purify Morkvarg, so that way he ends up in our graveyard at the end of the round and we can put him back into our deck with Lippy. However, because this is Nilfgaard we're talking about, and we now know for a fact that they have Duchess's Informants, by playing the Pellar, we allow them to use Duchess's Informant to purify our 2 resilience units, which is obviously a very bad thing. So we don't want that to happen. So why don't we just use the Swallow here and boost up some of our other units? And I'm deliberately not making Shupe Knight our biggest card in case they have a Geralt of some variety. They'll pass, giving us the round 1 win. We could have definitely tried to pass on even on our last turn, but either way, we'll take the round 1 win. And we draw into all of our best cards here. Of course, our 2 echoed copies of Oneiro and then Garrison. And it's not like we want to switch into any of these guys, so we'll stick with what we have here. And although we did play one more card than our opponent in round 1, since we have the carryover from these Shupe Knights, and since we would very much like to play Lippy to set ourselves up for round 3, we will, at the very least, do this. And that will get us Roach out from our deck now, which means they will probably need at least 2 cards to catch us, putting us back on even cards, even if we are to pass on our next turn. But we could try to push if we wanted to. They'll go with Uma's Curse. Whoa, okay. Old Spear Tip is about as good as it gets in terms of point slams. So if they're trying to keep pace, then they're doing a good job so far. Then Menno, which will give them a tactic card, which I assume they have. But this is not their first special card, so they're only going to get 1 copy of this. And it still is not enough for them to catch us here. So we can either pass, force them to play another card, and be on even cards in round 3, but with us having last say, or we can get greedy and try to push with things like Garrison or Oneiromancy, which I think might be worth doing, because if we go Oneiro, we can get Matta, draw into our best card, which is a Shupe, and then if we really want to, we can meme a little bit, and give them a taste of their own medicine with Cantarella. And, oh, okay, well, Red Haze is not exactly ideal in this situation. So we tried. Probably should have gone for a little bit more of a sure bet, but... Okay, now they're putting Assimilate on the board, and of course, in a long round, that is very effective, but they've not yet caught us. And putting Spying on Matta might be to set up a future Terra Nova play, but now let's use Shupe. Because once again, we can aim for Resilience, which unfortunately we did not get here. So we can go damage or boost. Let's do damage. And then we can go once again and try to get the resilience here. We do, at least this time round. That'll, of course, give us some carryover, and also we'll get Knickers out from our deck. Then Coup de Grace. Okay, so that's how they're going to get Matta on their side. We'll get the Skald, which is, of course, less than ideal. Then on the second time round, Mardroeme, also not ideal. Okay, I'm gonna gamble a little bit here as well. Going Oneiro, I suppose first into Johnny for some damage. But then, into either Cantarella or maybe Roderick is a little bit safer. And then with Roderick, we can get Shupe Stay off. Now, this is the second or third special card that we're playing on this turn, so we will only get 1 copy of it, but once again means we can aim for the resilience, and we get it. So that is, of course, ideal. Then they'll go with Ducal Guard, so yeah, they're getting more Assimilate down here, which is strong, but it takes a while for it to power up. And short term, it is certainly insufficient here. So once again, we could pass because they haven't caught us, and they actually have a fair bit of ground to make up here. Or we could go Garrison for another point slam. And since we have Johnny on the board, I think that's probably worth doing since we get a little bit of extra value from it. Okay, then it's Imperial Diplomacy, which is, of course, a way for them to proc that Assimilate, and they have, what, 2 Assimilate engines on the board right now? So it's something. We use Mardroome to boost those Assimilate cards. So they are now definitely out of removal range. We didn't really have a way to get rid of them anyway. And Stunning Blow they should use on a Shupe. Which they do. They still haven't caught us, and I think we still go slightly further here by going with Mardroeme. And Knickers is just strong enough to survive since he has the armor. And then why don't we put another one on Johnny so that he's a little bit harder to get rid of as well. And because those are alchemy cards, that means Shupe Knight gets a little bit of healing, because that is the passive ability from Battle Trance. Okay, Blue Dream, I have no idea what they're going for. It's Matta, really. We have way more cards on our deck than you do right now. So you are close to milling yourself. Which is a little confusing. Invader is a point slam, yes, but not a great one at that. And once again, I think we go for the special cards here with Mardroeme. So first, let's use it on Johnny. And that gives some healing for Shupe Knight. We could use this on Shupe Knight, and of course, he would no longer be damaged at that point. However, then we're not getting the 1 point of additional value from the healing, which is unacceptable. So we'll go for Knickers instead. And we are probably going to pass on our next turn. Aguara is great for Assimilate. Ragnarok is quite good in a long round, but as I was saying, I was thinking about passing soon, and perhaps our reasons for passing soon are growing larger. We have a pretty sizable lead here, so it may take them more than 1 card to catch up to us. That would be ideal. But also, at the very least, we've made round 3 shorter, which means, assuming that they play more Assimilate in round 3, they have less time for those Assimilate engines to power up, and in general, the carryover that we get from our Shupe Knights will be a larger factor. So either we do that, or we might be able to sneak in a Gutting Slash, especially because if we do this 1 time, then, oh, well, we now have Bloodthirst, deal extra damage on the second one. I was going to use it on Matta, but sure, we'll take the damage on Old Spear Tip instead. And now we are definitely going to pass on our next turn. Okay, it's Bribery, once again, a good card for triggering Assimilate, so I'm not sure it's going to be enough for them here. Oh, I hate the Pellar, though, because it purifies our resilience, at least on 1 Shupe. Really hoping they don't get another Pellar here, but I jinxed it. Okay, so they got unbelievably lucky there. We don't have that many units in our deck, but still. I just did the math, and that was a 5.3% chance of that happening, so there you have it. Bribery always giving you the best card. I mean, we're definitely still going to pass here, because we do still have a lead, fortunately, so they will at least be on even cards with us in round 3, but we no longer have the carryover from the Shupes, which really hurts. Okay, it's Coup de Grace, which they can use... to do Lippy, to do a deck flip of their own, which I was commenting about how they had so few cards in their deck. Maybe they were planning to do that all along. But notably, it would not have been enough points by itself, so they'll use their leader ability here as well. And, I mean, it's not going to be all that great. It's sure a Pellar, and Purification no longer all that significant. But because of the damage we take from the Cataclysm, it is enough for them to take the round 2 win. Okay, so we draw into both of our echoed copies of Oneiro and the Swallow. We're definitely going to want to get rid of these 2, I think, though. Okay, they'll start with the Slave Hunter, which we could destroy with Arachas Venom, although it is a lot of overkill damage that we would perhaps prefer to save for a different occasion. Especially because we could instead go for Oneiro into Coral. And then also use our second round of Oneiro to get the Skald. Use that. Get rid of you and deal some damage. And use Coral. Get rid of you and deal enough damage to get rid of that Slave Hunter. Okay, then it's Experimental Remedy, with which... create a Dimun Warship. Not exactly a fantastic card for them. Duchess's Informants, which gives us 1 point and gives them 4 with the Skald, and I'm not sure it's really going to help them. Draw and discard. Unfortunately, they do have a Pirate in their graveyard, which means if we destroy this warship, they will summon that Tuirseach Invader. That being said, we probably do still want to go with Birna here. And we'll get rid of the Arachas Venoms here, I think, and instead stick with the triangle within a triangle in both cases. Unfortunately, the random damage did happen to hit exactly the unit that we were saying we did not want to hit both times at that. And then their Oneiro goes into Roderick, which could be a big deal, depending on what they get here. It's Bribery, which, without Assimilate units on the board, is not a huge deal unless they get one with this Oneiromancy. It's Uma's Curse. So lots of Assimilate triggering cards with no Assimilate cards on the board. But, let's see what they end up with here. It's a Tuirseach Invader, which is just 5 points, so that's no big deal. Maral, for poison, they'll probably use that on Coral, I imagine. Or Birna. Technically not as big of a deal. So I think what we want to do in that case is use triangle within a triangle to get rid of Maral so that they cannot poison and destroy Birna. And then with the second one, they don't have a great target damage-wise since these are all 4 provisions, so instead let's use this to boost Coral. And I'm pretty sure they have a coup de grace, yep, for Roderick. And it's Scorch, once again, which is very unfortunate, because we, of course, did just boost Coral. However, she was tied for 6 power with Birna mere moments ago. So at least we aren't losing Birna as well. Then it's Matta. Gives us Swallow, which is not bad. So I think what we do here is, it's another dice roll, but we go Oneiro into Cantarella, and we see what we can steal from their deck, because it is probably still the best card from our deck right now. And then round 2, same thing. Ardfiend Tortoise, are they going to have the damage to mess with it? I might go Experimental Remedy instead. We would have fantastic opportunity, oh, hold on, well, Rock Assimilate. Apparently it's Pugo. Sure, we actually got rid of one of their spies, so it worked really well. There was a better Assimilate unit out there, but we were running out of time to play it. But this actually will become fairly big unless, well, they have a way to destroy it. It's Blue Dream again. And this time it's for another Roderick. And another Scourge. So that's going to get rid of Pugo, of course. Every time we play a big unit, huh? This time, it's another Blue Dream. Of course, they've already played a special card, so they're only going to get one of it this time. Into another Roderick! Into Bekker's, which I assume is going to be on Birna. Yup, which actually is more significant than it might seem. Obviously, she was our biggest unit, yes, but she was also our highest provision unit, which means we no longer have a great target for triangle within a triangle to use on the boosting side of things. Unless we go for Roderick, but he's just a 6. So I think we go Swallow here. To, at the very least, buy ourselves a little more time to see if we're going to have a better target for triangle within a triangle. Honestly, they might have another coup de grace. No, it's Mardroome. Okay, now Matta is a great target for triangle within a triangle, because she is their highest provision cost card. So they do have a lead, but one triangle within a triangle should be enough, let alone the additional copy of triangle within a triangle that we'll get here. So a crazy match, but still, we pull off the win. So there's a look at a new Wild Hunt deck for the new dual casting seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below to let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.